Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Bengal Magazine. It's snowing outside as we tape this show, but we're still going to go outside. We're going to talk lacrosse and softball. And first up is lacrosse. Renee Carlineo, the assistant coach, is joining us, bringing along Kendyl Clarkson, an attacker from Painted Post, and she's a junior. And then we're talking softball, and the weather's been miserable for softball, and yet they're coming back from a Florida trip. We'll talk about that with Breanna Fenski and Sam Strapason, both sophomores. And then we're going to take a neat look at a Division III identity piece that the NCAA has just come out with. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk lacrosse. All right, we're going to talk a little lacrosse now here, and joining us is Renee Carlineo, the assistant coach, and Kendyl Clarkson. And let's just talk real quick about the route yesterday of Oswego, and an opportunity probably to play some folks that may not be getting the playing time.
We do. We actually have 13 first-year players on the team,
wow.
11 freshmen. So it was a great opportunity to get some of those girls out there and really get their feet under them for a good amount of time.
Anything you work on, Kendyl, when the game, I mean, let's be honest, the game got out of control early on, and you could see that the route was on. Does anything go through your mind, okay, maybe now I can work on something, or is it just basically sticking to the game plan still?
Games like that, it's more like a practice. So like
okay.
Once you know that you have the lead, we're more in like practice mode,
okay.
Going through like our offenses, and then getting those players that you talked about in. We're more looking to hit them.
Gotcha.
So that they can get more experience than like
sure.
we really need. So we need them to like build up to our level.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about execution, and that's a good opportunity to do that. Off to a great start, 7-3 on the season, and I looked this up when I did my research. 42-15 in the last 3+ years. The state of Buffalo State women's lacrosse. What have been? I mean, you've been here long enough now. What have been the key factors in getting this program to where it is right now?
A couple things. My first year here, the group really took on an identity of we were going to go out and upset some people, and we were really going to make a name for ourselves. And on top of that, we've brought in some players with just unbelievable work ethic and fantastic talent who have added on to that and built year after year after year. And now we've got a group of girls where we're kind of at that point where we need to start fine-tuning and tweaking things,
right.
But they still have that great, solid work ethic where...
And I would think you could be, as you go out and recruit, you could probably be a little more picky in terms of, it's probably not the right phrase, but in terms of who you're looking at because of the state of the program, and probably those recruits are looking to you to say, hey, come get me. I'd love to play for you.
We're getting much more interest, especially from those kids that could possibly go Division II, maybe
right.
go Division I, that'll actually look at us now where before...
Right.
They wouldn't even glance our way.
Well, we just came back from a West Coast trip, and I think 3 games out there, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm curious, from a student-athlete perspective, gosh, the spring has been so miserable here in terms of the weather. It must have been a great relief for you to get on the plane and get someplace warm and sunny. And what are you doing out there once you get out there? Are you working on your game, or are you working with the team, or is it a little bit of both?
We're with the team constantly, so right. It's a lot of like, getting to know each other more than you would. Like living in a 4-person suite with everyone is very interesting to like start living with people.
Right.
But I think it helps you a lot on the field, and plus we played on a grass field there, and we have 1 or 2 games this year on grass, Geneseo for sure, which is really tough for us to get used to. So it's nice to kind of like get used to the grass fields out there. So
well, that's very interesting. Why don't you talk a little bit more about that on a coaching aspect? Because we're on turf and most of the games are on turf, those 2 or 3 games that we have on grass just is a different world?
It's a different world. From your legs feel different on grass. It literally feels like you're running in the mud the first time you get out there. Picking up ground balls is much different on grass. Your stick grabs the grass more than it does the turf. So just the opportunity, we practiced at Long Beach Cal, and it was probably a 300-yard field by a 200-yard field, and we had it all to ourselves. So it gave us tons of room to really open up our legs. And
talk to us about the trip in terms of coaching and what you saw and what you're trying to do on a trip like that? What did you see in the team being in a nicer weather? I mean, there were some games before that, but now all of a sudden you're in the sunshine. And what were you trying to work on out there?
Every year, we're fortunate enough at Buffalo State for our spring break to fall right before our SUNY competition starts. So we really use spring break as a time with just the team to gear up for our conference play.
Okay.
It really is the bridge between kind of our preseason and our SUNY season. So
it's interesting. And you being out there, back to individual, are you doing anything differently individually when you're out in nice weather like that compared to all the rain and snow and wind we've had here in Buffalo?
Nothing crazy, but I mean, I do try to work more in the nice weather because like when you're in the rain and snow and everything here, it's like you're kind of saving yourself because when it's freezing out, you're holding the ball, you're like taking like easier shots or like.
Sure, I mean, it's just like us. We just love to be out in nice weather, and even if you're a student athlete, you don't want to be out in wind and rain and snow. So let's talk a little bit about your rise to where you are right now. And it was meteoric. I mean, it was quick. You came in as a freshman, and if I'm correct here, 59 goals as a freshman. Did that surprise you at all as a freshman to take on the college game so quickly and score that many goals?
At first, yeah. I came in really scared, I guess, and wasn't sure if I was going to play at all. But, I mean, I wanted to start, so I made it like a goal of mine to start and like make an impact on the team. Definitely helped that like Karen and Katie Henderson were there to like back me up. So we had a lot of good players that year, so it really helped me. Did
you, as a coaching staff, project her to be playing that much as a freshman and scoring that many goals, or were you guys a little surprised?
I've known Kendyl for a long time, and I knew what her potential was coming in. She's probably one of the most talented and gifted players I've ever had, not even the fortune to work with, but ever seen at the college game. And on top of that, I know how tough she is. You're not going to find many athletes out there that can take the hits she takes and the broken bones and the broken joints and the broken teeth and still be out on the field and not want to come off. So I knew she was going to be a pretty big
Talking about, sorry to interrupt you, broken teeth. I mean, you know, some people think, oh, it's women's lacrosse, and yet here she is smiling, but we don't see her bottom teeth. And something happened out on the West Coast. She had a little injury. Why don't you tell us what happened?
I took a check right to the tooth, and I felt it immediately, but I didn't know that it had fallen out, and I like put my tongue there, and it was gone. I freaked out a little bit, but
and then she went right back on the field.
Yeah.
But you scored the goal. That's really all that matters,
that's
right?
All that matters.
Okay, let's keep everything in priority here. Saturday is Cortland, and if you're looking to see great college lacrosse, Saturday versus Cortland, you'll see terrific college lacrosse. Cortland ranked number 5 in the country, I believe. Buffalo State moving on up, and it's always the showdown with Cortland. You see this team now. What has to happen on Buffalo State side of the ball to win this game?
I think our greatest opportunities really come from our greatest challenges, and we really need to focus on us over the next 3 days, solidifying our defense, really getting our offense clicking, making sure everybody kind of knows their role and knows where their contributions are going to be. And then we just have to bring our best ball. We have to bring our best ball every day for SUNY because SUNY play is tough.
And as student athletes, is this one kind of circled on the calendar, Cortland? I mean, I know we take each game one by one, but boy, that Cortland game when it comes to lacrosse is probably circled. Do you look forward to that game? And what do you feel you have to do as student athletes, as players in this game?
It's definitely one of the biggest games, like without a doubt. You can't really hide it. Freshman year, I guess, because of that year upsetting Cortland, it's made it even bigger of a game for us. But I think the key is for our team to stay composed. Like, you can't come in and have your freshmen scared of big Cortland. You can't come in and think, oh, they're going to beat us, they're number 5. You just have to stay composed and play your game.
And, you know, I have a funny feeling they're thinking, oh, big Buffalo State now, whereas maybe 5 or 6 years ago they weren't. But that's the state of our program at Buffalo State right now. People are looking at us instead of us looking at them. So, ladies, best of luck Saturday against Cortland. That's 1 o'clock, I believe, at Coyer Field. So, again, if you're looking for terrific college lacrosse, come on out Saturday at Coyer Field. We will take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to stay outside and talk softball. Well, I can tell you from a personal standpoint that the weather is killing softball. My daughter's JV games have been postponed, And Buffalo State softball has postponed a whole bunch of games because of, well, you name it, rain, wind, snow, it's all out there. And Breanna and Sam are here to talk a little softball despite the weather. So let's go and talk about good weather. You had just come back from a trip down south to Florida and the USA National Training Center. My gosh, you must have said, I can't wait to get on the plane. First of all, what's it like down there at the training center? Is it a couple diamonds? Is it a whole bunch of diamonds? What's the makeup of the training center itself?
Well, the training center that we play at, I believe there are 5 diamonds there.
Okay.
When we go down, there's not as many teams because we go a little later.
Because of the spring break.
Correct. And I know they play at other fields, but where we are, there's 5 diamonds, and they're filled up every day.
And you have double headers, but I have a funny feeling you'd play triple headers and quadruple headers if they let you. Tell us about the experience down there of going there and playing double headers in beautiful sunshine and 90-degree weather, as you said off air.
Right. It's really nice to get down and just to get outside, really. We'd only been outside once to practice before going to Florida, and we were able to get out, and it's just a lot of fun to be with the team all the time, basically. Rooming together and going out to dinner and playing games every day.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
It's a good experience.
I know Sandy probably doesn't want you to say this, and I'm not telling you to say it, but it must be difficult to get yourself motivated for practice every day when you're in Houston Gym, when you're in a gymnasium. Is that difficult to do, Sam?
Yeah, being in a gym for 6 weeks is not fun.
No.
And the coaches will tell you that too. We make the best out of it, though. They try to change everything up. But fact of the matter is, when Florida comes up, you can't wait. Like, you're in Florida a week before we're even there, mentally.
What are you doing down in Florida that you can't do in the gym? Give us, are you able to do drill work down there? Do you have time to just practice as a team and then do the games? What happens down there that you really can't do in the gymnasium?
Well, we don't really do a lot of practicing down there, but our pitchers are able to get outside and pitch on a real mound, and everybody's able to hit the live balls outside, front toss or anything like that, and it's just really nice to be able to be outside. Sure. Catching fly balls even is totally different than it is in the gym.
When they hit the beam and you have to catch them coming off the beam, right?
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. You're both very good hitters, and I'm curious, down there, as compared to the gym, must be completely different for you in terms of a training mechanism. Did you feel like it really helped you that week down there in terms of your hitting and your technique?
Yeah, it really allows you to see actually where you're hitting the ball rather than it hitting a wall and bouncing every direction.
Sure.
It really helps you adjust what you need to do, live pitching compared to tee work and machines.
Gotcha. Let's talk a little bit about the team. Not many games, unfortunately, because of the weather, and yet we've been down south. What's the makeup of this team, Breanna? Is this can we see a power hitting type team? Is it a scratch and claw for runs? Will we need to score a lot of runs? Do you sense good defense here? What did you see down there?
Well, we have 3 freshman pitchers.
Okay.
So that's always tough. No matter how good they are, they're still freshmen, and it's going to take time for them to mature. So we all know as an offense that we need to produce the runs for them just to support them. And we know our defense is sufficient, and we know we can get the job done, but they're still going to give up those hits. And that's just going to be part of the growing process. And if we can get those runs, we know we'll be able to win some games, but they're going to be high scoring.
As sophomores, this is kind of an unusual question for a sophomore, but do you ladies feel like you need to be leaders even though you're only sophomores? You both played significant amount of time last year, and yet you're still a sophomore, and now we're talking about freshman pitchers. Do you sense a leadership type responsibility for both of you this year?
Yes. Our coach last year, before, right when the season ended, she told every single player returning that they would be a leader on the team. They need to show everyone what to do, how to do it, and set a good example for everyone.
And you agree with that?
Yeah, it's a lot of leading by example, I'd say. We have our captains, and they're the ones who, set down the rules and all that. But all the returners are leading by example and just showing everybody, how it goes and how the system works.
Right. I have an interesting question for you, because I face this a lot as a 14U coach. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. If you're a little older, let's say you're a senior, maybe 23, 24, and there's a 12-year-old who wants some advice. She's playing softball in the middle school or modified and 12U softball. What kind of advice would you give her? Because you've played all that. You've done the T-ball, the modified, the travel, and now college. What advice would you give a 12 or 13-year-old?
It actually happened when I was in Florida. I was in the bathroom, and a girl saw me with my stuff on. She's like, "Oh, do you play softball?" I'm like, "Yeah, at Buff State." She goes, "Oh." I was like, "Oh, do you play?" And she's like, "Well, I'm still in high school." I'm like, "Oh." I was like, "Definitely keep with it. Like, it's the best thing. If you really love the game, it'll take you places. It'll bring you the friends that you probably would have never met. Might help you with school, it might not, but if you love it, just stick with it. Don't let your parents tell you what to do."
You know, you said an interesting thing. It'll take you places. I talk to a lot of people in Western New York about Division III. Oh, it's Division III. And I said, you know, Division III is it's great athletics, and it will take you places.
It will.
Florida, the lacrosse team going out to the West Coast. I mean, we travel almost, you know, pretty good. And it can take you places to see things, and great team bonding and great friendships. My question to you now, we hear about the 12 or 13-year-old. Now, what do you tell the 12 and 13-year-old parent? What advice would you give the parents out there?
Well, as a parent, I think the biggest thing is for them to stay positive and support your child, whatever they want to do. Don't go out there and just say, you know, "Oh, stop striking out," and this and that. You can't harp on the negatives all the time, because then the kid's going to not want to play anymore because they feel like they can't do anything right. So I think the biggest thing is remaining positive and just, you know, helping them out, pointing out their good aspects and what they can improve on.
Great, because they want to do well themselves, so that you're not telling them anything they don't know. You have a stealth bat in your hands. Here is a 325 hitter last year, who will soon be 325 this year. We're going to try something different. Come on up here, Sam, and what do you think? Give us your technique for hitting and what you're trying to do. You know, many people think, well, it's girls softball, but it's really amazing softball, because pitchers can get up to 58, 60 miles an hour, which can equate to 88, 90, 91 for a big league batter. So we're talking the real stuff here. So take your stance and kind of walk us through what you're doing as a hitter.
Okay, well, the first thing, you get in the box and you just kind of clear your mind. Anything you've learned before, it just, you know, it's all in you. You don't think about it now. All you're thinking, you get up there, ready to hit the ball. Just waiting, you see the pitch starting, get ready, and then when you're going, you take that step, throw those hands right to the ball.
So you're moving the butt of the bat forward first.
Correct.
Okay.
From there, you're twisting your hips with your body, and then your point of contact isn't back here, it's way out in front of the plate.
Correct.
So then you're touching it right out there and follow through.
And then does the top hand come over at all, or?
It does in the end. After you make that contact, what everyone does is different. So you're coming through and you make that contact. Most hands come through, some people let go of the bat. It just depends on what you want to do.
Very interesting. Have a seat back here. It's very interesting because it's a little different than baseball. In baseball, it's arm extension and rotating the hands. Here it's the butt first, and then extension of the arm. You want to get the bat out there and then the extension of the arm. Would that be correct?
Yeah, you're throwing your hands right, like what our coach tells us all the time. Your hands are inside of the ball at all times. So you don't want to throw your hands at the ball, but right to the inside of the pitch.
Very good. Well, let's get the batting averages back up as soon as we get outside. So we're back to where we were last year, although Breanna's having a good season so far. Ladies, I wish you the best of luck and great sunshine and warmth over the next couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to show you a neat little video that the NCAA has come out with concerning Division III. So stick with us. Just a reminder, and calling all golfers out there, Monday, June 6th, please mark that down on your calendar, Monday, June 6th, the 28th annual Bengal Club Golf Classic will be held at the Briarwood Country Club, Monday, June 6th, and it all goes to support the student athletes here at Buffalo State. So Monday, June 6th at the Briarwood Country Club. You know, one of the greatest challenges facing the NCAA today is letting people know what Division III is all about. I get this all the time. I walk around, I see parents, I see student athletes, high school kids. You know, they think Division I's the only division that they can play athletics in, or the only one they want to play. And what they fail to realize is just how great Division III is and the competition level. Most of the student athletes at Buffalo State were really, really, really good student athletes at their high school level. And they've come here for a number of reasons. And so what the NCAA is trying to do is make people aware, the public aware, of the greatness of Division III. So over the next 5 minutes, I want to introduce this video from the NCAA. It's an identity piece on Division III. Hope you like it.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
There's no question, as a Division III student athlete, I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
It's more about the experience rather than a sport itself.
There's a kind of magic in finding out that you are capable of more than what you thought you could do.
The Division III national champions.
There are over 400 schools in Division III. We're not all exactly alike, but what unites us is powerful. It's our passion, it's our single-minded commitment to the success of our student athletes, to their pursuit of excellence in everything they do in life.
Typical Division III student athlete is involved in many different aspects of their collegiate community. They have good proportion with everything going on in their life and has a good sense of who they are and who they want to become.
They understand that athletics is just one small part of the student's experience.
You know, with Division III, I felt like I could have a life outside of just football, and that was important.
Professors understand that you are a student athlete and that, yes, academics come first.
There's a kind of magic in finding out that you are capable of more than what you thought you could do.
As a Division III student athlete, I learned how to lead. I really found a voice, and now I'm not afraid to speak up.
It definitely takes a lot of dedication to be a successful student athlete, but it does pay off.
Our job as educators is to teach students how to make responsible choices and responsible decisions. If we teach them how to be responsible citizens, then we've done our job, because they'll be great citizens of the world then.
Student athletes at a Division III school have opportunities that are wide-ranging and lots of opportunities for them to participate in things outside of athletics.
With the arts and with music and with sports, you can say, how can I make this experience mine, and really go after it.
I think being able to choose between various activities, including, you know, academics and athletics and other clubs, I think is very unique to Division III institutions.
I am involved in 2 sports. I'm also in a student athlete advisory committee. And because I play Division III sports, it allows me to make time to join clubs and join other things and still be able to balance my sports.
I think our faculty really help our student athletes be successful. Our campuses are built to help athletes succeed because they're flexible about their demands and what works for them.
The competition in D3, it can be fierce. We have, you know, there's a lot of rivals out there that, you know, you get some pretty heated games.
Come visit a Division III school and you'll see people going for it. We're working hard every single day.
And we have this wonderful sense of community where people stand together and cheer and shout and are very proud of our student athletes.
I think this is one of the most exciting times in the history of the NCAA Division III, and I think it's a great honor to be an administrator, to be part of that, to watch these student athletes grow and to prosper.
We are basically a family, you know. Even after we're done playing this sport, you're still so close to everybody. It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Residing within each of us are qualities that, if discovered and developed, empower us to lead meaningful lives. What we want for all of our student athletes is to give them the ability to discover these marvelous qualities, to develop these qualities over their years on our campus, and then become good citizens and leaders, and dedicate themselves to making the world a better place.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Bengal Magazine. Thanks to everybody here at Instructional Resources, and thanks to you for viewing in. We'll see you in 2 weeks for more Bengal Magazine.